Nowadays, LeBron James is most likely the first person you think of when you mention Nike athletes, but would you believe me if I told you Nike wasn't his first choice? And for my Laker fans, don't you worry, while Bron Bron's catching oops from Bugs Bunny and the crew, he's still gonna be working on his game off camera, and I'll tell you how. What's going on, Fumble fam? It's your boy Chris, but you can also find me over on my YouTube channel, CK2K, but make sure you subscribe here, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to like this video. Now, a lot of people who watch hoops should know that Michael Jordan spearheaded the whole Nike brand in the NBA, but nowadays, LeBron James is the brand's main spokesperson with commercials, billboards, and tons of shoes. But what if I told you years ago, before making his decision, Nike wasn't even the shoe brand that offered the king the most money? As you'd expect, the high school phenom was a hot commodity by all the shoe brands, and LeBron ultimately chose to sign with Nike for $90 million and hasn't looked back since. But before accepting the Nike deal, LeBron had to turn down a very pricey offer from a different shoe brand. Throughout high school, Adidas sponsored LeBron in his high school, St. Vincent St. Mary, showering them with shoes, headbands, and armbands. Most thought he'd stay consistent and sign the 10-year, $60 million deal with the brand, but Adidas wasn't even the brand close to pulling LeBron away from Nike. It was Reebok. The famously known, well, to the sneaker world, Sonny Vaccaro, he was working with Adidas at the time, and he snagged the brand athletes like Tracy McGrady and Kobe Bryant. Now, he hinted the brand would throw a 10-year, $100 million deal to LeBron, but actually only offered the high schoolers $60 million guaranteed. That being said, Nike not too long after only offered $10 million more with a $70 million deal, hoping that the history of the brand and Bron's childhood idol Michael Jordan's likeness would be more than enough to win the kid over. But then Reebok offered approximately a $150 million deal for over 10 years. Ultimately, LeBron negotiated with Nike to raise the price, which then they did, and they decided to take the deal with Nike. Reebok stock then fell immediately after losing out on the young phenom, and then released this following statement. While we believe LeBron James would have been a tremendous asset to Reebok, the cost associated with securing a long-term partnership with him was far beyond what we were willing to invest. Reebok's largest competitors simply put more money on the table, and in the final hour, after carefully considering what is in the best interest of our business and our shareholders, Reebok elected to not match this offer. We feel great with what Reebok has achieved, and that our recent string of unparalleled successes pressured our largest competitor into taking on this enormous cost. Here we are years later, and LeBron is signed to a lifetime deal to Nike, so we can all agree that James made the right decision, but I still would have loved to see what he could have done over with Adidas, but it's too late for all that. But speaking of LeBron making money, we all know LeBron is set to film Space Jam 2 in the coming offseason, and the movie is supposed to be ready for the release in July of 2021. Now, unlike most who love the classic like myself, I'm actually looking forward to what this is actually going to look like. I mean, people are ready to compare this one to the original one, but I don't expect it to be like the original one at all. Not to mention that Ryan Coogler is directing, and for those who don't know, he directed movies like The Creeps and a little indie film that we might know called Black Panther, so I feel like this movie will be in great hands. Wakanda forever! With the filming coming up, a lot of Laker fans are skeptical on how much work James will be putting into his first job, and that's the one on the court. Fans think that he's using the Lakers platform to further his career in film rather than focusing on bringing the Lakers the trophy that they haven't seen in almost 10 years. Now, don't you worry, Laker fans. I'm here to bring you some good news. Now, according to The Athletic's Joe Varden, the Space Jam 2 set will be housed with a full-length basketball court for LeBron to use for his summer training. Now, all I'm saying is if LeBron is able to come back from an NBA Finals defeat with only about 2 months off, I'm sure shooting a movie with a longer offseason won't affect LeBron's preparation for next season too much. Not to mention, Bron is hungry. We saw LeBron post this a few weeks ago on IG saying, "Believe me, promise, hashtag Laker Nation, the spell won't last much longer, I swear. The marathon continues." And he doubled down on his promise by telling The Athletic's Joe Varden again that he likes being counted out. He went on to say, "I've had basically the same offseason training regimen the last 8 years. I knew how long I wanted to rest for the season on a short timeline. I'm figuring out now how to get as much as I can out of 2 months of extra time for training. It requires a totally different strategy. We're looking at it in an entirely new way." Now, I'm no Laker fan, but I'm ready to see what LeBron does with a whole damn offseason of preparation. So what do you guys think, Laker fans? Are you guys thinking that he's actually gonna come back better than he did last season? And not to say that he had a bad season. He had a pretty solid season this year, but ultimately bring you guys to the playoffs and maybe to the finals. That's a far reach. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would love to hear you guys' opinion. I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's been your boy, and I'm out.